My girlfriend mocked my ambition, replaced respect with mind games, and embarrassed me publicly. I stopped explaining, stacked income aggressively, upgraded status fast, exposed fake confidence, and let my success punish her choices with lasting humiliation daily. You really think anyone's going to take you seriously in that cheap shirt? The words hung in the air like poison. We were standing in the parking lot of an upscale restaurant where her friends were waiting inside. I looked down at my button-down, the one I'd ironed that morning, the one I thought looked professional. What's wrong with it? She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd stick. Never mind. Let's just go in. Try not to embarrass me, okay? That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not broke, cracked. Like the first fracture in ice before the whole lake gives way. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I'm 28. Been with Melissa for 3 years. We met in college, started dating senior year, moved in together after graduation. Back then, she used to say she loved my drive. The dinner that night was torture. Her friends, all dating guys in finance or tech, kept talking about vacations in Bali and New Addis. I worked in sales for a mid-tier software company, decent money, but nothing flashy. Melissa kept shooting me looks every time I spoke. When I mentioned closing a big account that week, she actually laughed. He gets so excited about his little wins, she said, patting my hand like I was a child who'd drawn a crayon picture. Her friend Rebecca smirked. That's sweet though. Not everyone needs to be ambitious. The table went quiet for half a second. Then someone changed the subject to wedding planning. I excused myself to the bathroom and stared at my reflection. The cheap shirt suddenly looked even cheaper. I splashed water on my face and made a decision. Not the decision you'd think. I wasn't going to argue or defend myself or ask her to respect me. I was going to become undeniable. The next morning, I started tracking every expense. Cut subscriptions I didn't need. Meal prepped instead of ordering lunch. Started waking up at 5 a.m. to take online courses in enterprise sales and negotiation. Melissa noticed the alarm clock. God, what's with the early bird routine? You're not going to suddenly become a CEO. I didn't respond. Just kissed her forehead and went for a run. That became my pattern. She'd make a comment, I'd absorb it silently, then work harder. 2 months in, I got a lead on a senior account executive position at a major SaaS company. The pay was almost double what I was making. I didn't tell Melissa about the interview. Studied for 2 weeks straight. Practiced my pitch with a mentor I found on LinkedIn. The morning of the interview, she was still asleep when I left. I wore my cheap shirt under a blazer I'd bought at a thrift store and tailored myself using YouTube tutorials. The interview lasted 3 hours. Panel of 4 executives, case study presentation, the whole gauntlet. I walked out knowing I'd crushed it. The offer came 5 days later. Base salary, commission structure, stock options. Total compensation could hit $250,000 if I performed. I read the email 3 times in my car before driving home. Melissa was on the couch watching reality TV when I walked in. How was work? She asked without looking up. Good. I quit. That got her attention. She spun around, remote still in hand. You what? I quit my job. Start the new one in 2 weeks. Her face went through several emotions at once. Confusion, anger, something that might have been fear. Are you insane? You can't just quit without talking to me first. We have rent. We have bills. The new job pays more than double. We'll be fine. I showed her the offer letter. She read it silently, lips moving slightly. When she looked up, her expression had shifted. Not to pride or congratulation. To something calculating. Well, I guess you finally got serious. Not, I'm proud of you. Not, I'm sorry for doubting you. Just acknowledgement that I'd met some arbitrary standard she'd set. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I guess I did. The new job was brutal in the best way. 70-hour weeks at first, learning the product inside out, shadowing top performers. I closed my first deal in week 3, a mid-market contract worth $40,000 in first-year revenue. My manager called it beginner's luck. I called it the start. At home, Melissa's attitude shifted like a weather vane. Suddenly, she wanted to know about my day. Asked about my colleagues, my targets, my commission checks. Started suggesting we go to nicer restaurants. Mentioned needing a bigger apartment. I kept my responses vague. Bought myself 2 good suits, got a proper haircut, upgraded my gym membership. Started working with a personal trainer 3 days a week. Melissa noticed. You're looking good, she said one morning, running a hand down my chest. Like, really good. I smiled and headed to work. 6 months into the new job, I was the number 2 rep on the team. My commission check for Q2 was more than I'd made in 4 months at my old company. I didn't tell Melissa the exact amount, just deposited it in a separate account I'd opened. She'd started planning our future out loud, talking about engagement rings, destination weddings, buying a house in the suburbs. I listened and nodded and said nothing concrete. One night, her friends came over for drinks. The same crew from that dinner a year ago. Rebecca showed up with her fiancé, some private equity guy named Connor. They were talking about their honeymoon plans, 3 weeks in the Maldives. Melissa jumped in. We're actually looking at real estate. My boyfriend's doing really well now. She said it with ownership, like my success was hers to claim. Connor turned to me. Oh yeah? What do you do? Enterprise sales. SaaS. He nodded approvingly. Good space. You at a startup or established player? I named the company. His eyebrows went up. No shit. I know your VP of sales. We did our MBA together. You must be killing it if you're still there. They don't keep underperformers. Melissa beamed like she'd won something. The conversation moved on. I excused myself to get another drink and found Rebecca in the kitchen. Can I be honest with you? She said quietly. I waited. Melissa used to talk shit about you all the time. About your job, your clothes, how you weren't ambitious enough. My grip tightened on the beer bottle. Used to. Well, she stopped once you got the new job. Now she won't shut up about how she always believed in you. Rebecca looked uncomfortable. I just thought you should know. She's my friend, but that shit wasn't cool. I thanked her and went back to the living room. Watched Melissa laugh and touch my arm and play the supportive girlfriend. The crack in the ice spread a little wider. That week, I closed the biggest deal of my career. Enterprise contract, 3-year commitment, $200,000 in first-year revenue. My commission alone was going to be over $30,000. The company announced it in the all-hands meeting. My director shook my hand in front of 300 employees. I got drinks with my team that night, came home around 11. Melissa was waiting up. I saw your LinkedIn. Congratulations on the big deal. I'd forgotten I'd posted about it. Thanks. We should celebrate. Maybe finally look at rings this weekend. There it was. The assumption that my achievement was a stepping stone to her plan. I sat down across from her. Can I ask you something? She smiled. Of course. Do you remember that dinner with your friends? About a year ago, at that Italian place? Her smile faltered slightly. Vaguely why? You told me not to embarrass you. Said I got too excited about my little wins. Let your friend imply I wasn't ambitious. She laughed nervously. I was probably just joking around. You know I didn't mean anything by it. You weren't joking. You were ashamed of me. The room went cold. That's not fair. I've always supported you. You've supported the version of me that makes enough money to fit into your social circle. There's a difference. She stood up. I can't believe you're throwing some stupid comment from a year ago in my face. I've been nothing but supportive of this new job. You've been supportive of my paycheck. Her face flushed. That is such bullshit. I've been with you for 3 years. I've supported you through everything. Name one time you supported me before I started making real money. Silence. She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. This is ridiculous. You're being completely unfair. I stood up and walked to the bedroom. She followed, voice rising. You don't get to rewrite history just because you're suddenly successful. I was there when you had nothing. I turned around. I never had nothing. I had drive and goals and plans. You just didn't respect them because they weren't fast enough for you. Oh my God, you are so sensitive. One comment, and you're acting like I'm some kind of villain. It wasn't one comment, Melissa. It was 3 years of subtle digs and eye rolls and comparisons to your friends' boyfriends. It was you treating my ambition like a cute hobby until it started making you look good. She was crying now. I love you. Doesn't that matter? I don't know anymore. I'm not sure you love me or the idea of who I've become. I grabbed my gym bag and packed some clothes. Where are you going? Hotel. I need space to think. You're really going to leave over a fight? This isn't a fight. This is 3 years of resentment coming to the surface. I stayed at a hotel downtown for 4 days. Ignored her calls, responded to texts with brief non-answers. Worked from coffee shops, hit the gym twice a day, slept better than I had in months. On day 5, she showed up at my office. The receptionist called my extension. There's a Melissa here to see you? I closed my laptop. She was in the lobby, makeup perfect, wearing the dress I'd always said I loved. Can we talk? Please. We went to a coffee shop across the street. She cried, apologized, said she'd been insecure about money and took it out on me. Said she was proud of me. Always had been, just didn't know how to show it. I listened to all of it. I want to believe you, I said finally. But I can't shake the feeling that you only care now because I'm successful. That's not true. If I lost this job tomorrow, if I had to start over, would you still want to marry me? She hesitated. Just for a second, but I saw it. Of course I would. You hesitated. I was surprised by the question, that's all. I finished my coffee. I need more time. She grabbed my hand. How much time? I don't know. I went back to the apartment a week later when she was at work. Packed my essentials, left a check for my half of next month's rent. Found a one-bedroom in a new building downtown, signed the lease that afternoon. Melissa called that night, hysterical. You moved out? Without even telling me. I told you I needed space. Space doesn't mean abandoning our relationship. I'm not abandoning it. I'm reassessing it. This is insane. You're throwing away 3 years over nothing. It's not nothing to me. She started coming by my new place unannounced, showing up at my office, texting me screenshots of apartments she wanted us to look at, rings she liked, vacation destinations. I kept my responses neutral, non-committal. My performance at work hit another level. Became the top rep 2 quarters in a row. Got promoted to senior account executive with another significant pay bump. Started getting recruited by other companies, tech startups offering equity packages. I didn't need them. I was building something where I was. 3 months after moving out, Melissa's friend Rebecca reached out. Asked if we could meet for coffee. I almost said no, but curiosity won. She looked uncomfortable the whole time. Melissa's not doing great, she said. She's been pretty depressed since you left. I sipped my coffee and waited. She really misses you. She knows she messed up. Did she send you here? Rebecca shifted. Not exactly, but we're worried about her. I appreciate the concern, but this is between me and her. She said you're being cruel, that you won't even talk about working things out. I've talked. She doesn't like what I have to say. Rebecca leaned forward. Look, I get it. She wasn't always great to you. I told you that myself. But she's changed. She sees that now. She sees it now that I'm successful. That's not change, that's adaptation. Maybe that's not fair. I set down my cup. When I was making $45,000 a year, wearing cheap shirts, excited about small wins, she treated me like an embarrassment. Now I'm making 4 times that, and suddenly I'm worth fighting for. You tell me what's not fair about my assessment. Rebecca didn't have an answer. I thanked her for the coffee and left. That weekend, I went to a company event. Black tie gala for top performers, held at a hotel ballroom downtown. I brought a colleague as a +1, another senior rep named Vanessa. We'd become friends over late nights working deals together. Nothing romantic, just mutual respect between 2 competitive people. We were at the bar when I saw her. Melissa, dressed to kill, walking through the lobby with Connor, Rebecca's fiancé. Apparently Rebecca had gotten her in as a +1 to crash the event. She spotted me immediately, started walking over with purpose. I turned to Vanessa. This is about to get awkward. Melissa stopped in front of us, eyes on Vanessa. Who's this? Colleague. Melissa, you shouldn't be here. It's a hotel. I can be wherever I want. Connor appeared behind her, looking uncomfortable. Mel, maybe we should. You've been ignoring me for 3 months. She cut him off, eyes still on me. I deserve an actual conversation. People were starting to stare. Vanessa touched my arm. I'll give you 2 a minute. No, I said firmly. There's nothing to discuss. Melissa's voice went sharp. So that's it. You're just done? After everything we built together? We didn't build anything together. I built a career while you mocked it. Now you want credit for the foundation. Her face crumpled. I made mistakes. People make mistakes. You're not perfect either. You're right, I'm not. But I never made you feel small for trying. I never made you feel small. The words came out before I could stop them. You told me not to embarrass you. You laughed at my achievements. You compared me to other men constantly. You made me feel like I wasn't enough exactly as I was. The lobby had gone quiet. Melissa looked around, realized we had an audience. Her expression hardened. You know what? Fine. Be successful and alone. See how that works out for you. She turned and walked away, Connor trailing behind her apologetically. I stood there for a moment, heart pounding. Vanessa reappeared. You okay? Yeah, I think I finally am. The next few months were the best of my life. Threw myself into work with 0 distractions. Closed deal after deal, built relationships with clients that generated recurring revenue. Got headhunted by a major tech company with an offer I couldn't refuse. VP of sales for their enterprise division, equity package worth potentially millions if we hit our targets. I accepted, gave notice at my current company, got a standing ovation at my farewell lunch. Started the new role and immediately proved why they'd hired me. Built out a team, implemented new processes, exceeded Q1 targets by 40%. Meanwhile, I'd started dating. Nothing serious, just meeting people without the weight of a failing relationship. Met a woman named Diana at an industry conference. She was a founder of her own startup, brilliant and driven and completely self-made. We started seeing each other casually. She never once asked how much I made or compared me to anyone else. Just enjoyed my company and challenged me intellectually. 6 months into the new role, my company threw a product launch party. Invited clients, investors, press. I brought Diana. We were talking to a potential enterprise client when I saw her across the room. Melissa. She was with some guy in a suit, clearly trying to network. Our eyes met across the crowd. I watched the realization hit her face. This wasn't just a party, it was my party. My company, my product, my success. She started to approach, but Diana pulled me into another conversation. I didn't see where Melissa went after that. Didn't matter. Later that night, I got a text. I saw you tonight. Congratulations on everything. You look happy. I stared at it for a long moment. Typed out 3 different responses. Deleted all of them. Finally just wrote, "Thanks." She replied immediately, "I'm sorry. For all of it. You deserved better." I put the phone down and looked at Diana laughing with one of our engineers. Picked it back up and typed, "I hope you find what you're looking for." Then I blocked the number. Not out of anger or spite. Just to close a chapter that had been dragging on too long. A year later, I was at a restaurant with Diana celebrating her startup series of funding. Melissa walked in with a different guy, someone I didn't recognize. She saw me immediately. I watched her take in the scene. Me in a custom suit, Diana glowing with success, the bottle of champagne on our table. The life I'd built without her. She looked away quickly, said something to her date, and they were seated on the other side of the restaurant. Diana noticed me noticing. X. Yeah. Wanna leave? Not even a little bit. We finished our meal, celebrated properly, and left without a second glance in their direction. That night, lying in bed, Diana asked the question, "Do you ever regret how it ended?" I thought about it honestly. No. She taught me something important. What's that? That the right person doesn't wait for you to prove you're worth respecting. They see your potential when you're still building it and respect the journey, not just the destination. Diana kissed me softly. For what it's worth, I'm glad she was too blind to see it. Me too. 6 months after that, Diana and I moved in together. She sold her startup for 8 figures. I got promoted to Chief Revenue Officer. We bought a house with a home office for each of us. Built a life based on mutual respect and shared ambition. One day, scrolling through LinkedIn, I saw Melissa had gotten engaged. To the guy from the restaurant, based on the photos. He worked in middle management at a regional bank. I felt nothing looking at the announcement. No satisfaction, no vindication, no residual anger. Just complete indifference. That's when I knew I was really free. The version of me that needed her approval was gone. The version that had stayed up at night wondering if I was enough was gone. I'd become undeniable not to prove her wrong, but to prove myself right. That I was worth more than someone who only valued me when I fit their aesthetic. Worth more than conditional respect. Worth more than love with an asterisk. Last month, I spoke at an industry conference. Gave a keynote on building high-performing sales teams. After the talk, a young guy approached me, maybe 25. That was incredible. I'm struggling in my current role, and my girlfriend keeps saying I'm not ambitious enough. Your story really resonated. I looked at him for a long moment. Can I give you some advice? He nodded eagerly. The right partner makes you feel ambitious and supported at the same time. If she's making you feel like you're not enough as you are, that's not motivation, that's manipulation. Don't wait 3 years to figure out the difference. His face changed as the words hit home. He thanked me and walked away looking thoughtful. Diana appeared at my side. Mentoring the next generation? Just passing along a hard-learned lesson. She took my hand. Come on. We have that dinner reservation. We left the conference center and stepped into the evening air. My phone buzzed with a LinkedIn message. From Melissa. Saw your keynote was trending. Always knew you'd do great things. I showed it to Diana. She raised an eyebrow. You going to respond? I deleted the message without reading the rest. Nothing left to say. We walked to the restaurant. Past the reflecting windows of buildings I'd closed deals in. Through the city I'd conquered not through anger, but through refusing to accept less than I deserved. Sometimes people don't mock your ambition because they don't believe in you. They mock it because your success would mean they chose wrong by not choosing to support you. And there's no punishment I could design more perfect than simply becoming everything they said I couldn't be while they watched from a distance. not for revenge, but for the peace that comes with knowing you were always enough. You just needed to stop explaining yourself to people who were never going to listen.